Hey boys, it's HarmNone. Today we're going to be going over what to buy and what to avoid this week in Grand Theft Auto Online. Now, full transparency before we get any further into this, I don't want to waste anyone's time. We're in the same update week that we've been in for 3 weeks, but I figured I skipped last week's what to buy and what to avoid. I didn't want to milk this, but this is the last week that we've got the bonuses that are currently on in GTA right now. So I figured I should make another what to buy and what to avoid for things that you guys should be buying this week and what you should not be buying this week before these discounts and before this round of update week comes to a close. Now we're going to go ahead and start this off by talking about how to make some money this week. We still have those Cluck and Bell farm raid bonuses going on this week. So if you haven't done the Cluck and Bell farm raid as a leader or as an associate, there's $500,000 for doing each of those things on the table still until January 7th. So potentially another $1 million if you're willing to do the Cluck and Bell farm raid another 2 times, and that's on top of what you get paid for doing it already, which is $500,000 for a leader and about $50,000 as an associate. So there's some extra money on the table. I would recommend taking advantage of this, and this also ties into the weekly challenge this week, which is to complete the Cluck and Bell farm raid as a leader. For doing this, you're going to get a bonus $300,000 this week as well. So pretty good way to make money with the Cluck and Bell farm raid this week, for sure. Now, we also still have the community series on Double Money and Double RP, so check these out if you're interested. And Overtime Rumble is still on Double Money and Double RP. This is basically car darts. It's actually a lot of fun. I'd recommend trying it out if you got some buddies to play with. Now, we also have the weed farm businesses on discount this week. They're still 40% off, including all the upgrades that you can do to them inside the businesses themselves. And with that new security upgrade coupled with the mansion, these are not going to get raided anymore, so that's something I would really recommend doing this week. And as far as the weed farm location goes, as to which one is best, basically the San Chiansky mountain range location is kind of the best. I personally own the one in the city, not super worth it unless you want to operate your MC businesses like as efficiently as possible, but it's really not that big of a deal. So I'd recommend just getting the San Chiansky mountain range location. It's going for $429,000 this week. Not a bad price. That's the one to get. Absolutely do not buy the one at Mount Chiliad. Do not buy the one at Elysian Island. Those locations are terrible. It's either going to be the San Chiansky or it's going to be the one in the city, which is the downtown Vinewood location. So still recommend San Chiansky. That's the one I would buy. Now, something else to note is that weed is still on Double Money. In case you guys were unfamiliar with that, weed has been on Double Money for, well, 2 weeks so far, and it's on Double Money for another week. So weed is going to be pretty valuable, and with the smoke on the water business, you're going to get an additional 35%. So the most amount that you'll be able to get is $850,560, and you can also sell this in a crew session or a public session if you want to, and make an additional 50% on top of that. So going to be a really good way to make money this week, the best way to make money this week, in fact. The upgrades for the weed farm are also absolutely essential. You should have all of these. Now, I do have all of these purchased, but these are the prices that they are going to cost you if you want to do this. Now, these are all 40% off this week as well, by the way. So $594,000 for the equipment, gotta have it. Staff upgrade, absolutely worth it. And the security, if you have the mansion, is super worth it. But even if you don't have a mansion yet, still get the security upgrade right now, because you're never going to get it for cheaper. And when you do get a mansion, it's going to be completely raid proof. So that's great. For vehicle discounts, let's go ahead and get started on Elitas. We have the Sea Sparrow still discounted. I don't personally think this thing is worth buying for pretty much anybody. There's not really any missions or anything that this thing is going to be super applicable to actually use. There's like maybe one CEO cargo source mission where this might come in handy, but even still, I don't really recommend it because you could just take an oppressor out there. You can take a boat, whatever. I don't think the Sea Sparrow is going to be worth it for the majority of people. So I would avoid buying the Sea Sparrow this week. Still don't think it's worth it. However, if you think you might want it or use it at some point in the future, getting it while it's 30% off, I guess, is the move. But don't recommend it for most people. On Legendary Motorsport, under the 2-door section, we have the Pegasi Reaper. This is one I don't really recommend. Not much in the way of customization. It's an older supercar, so performance-wise, it's not really the best anymore. And if it had any real redeeming qualities, I would tell you them, but it kind of doesn't. It's rear-wheel drive. It doesn't have the greatest acceleration. The top speed isn't that great. The customization sucks pretty much. It's really not that good of a car. So for $1,100,000, I just don't really think it's worth it for most people. However, though, if you like the Reaper, if you've wanted one for a long time, obviously you're going to want to get it while it's on discount. Do I recommend it for most people? No, I don't. We also still have the Enos Deity discounted. This is one of the cheapest Amani Tech vehicles you can get right now. It's also a first-gen Amani Tech vehicle, so it does have the bullet-resistant windows. It's got the front-mounted machine guns you can put on it as well, and it does have armor plating. However, as a vehicle, it's not that great, and especially compared to a lot of other Amani Tech vehicles that are around the similar price range, like the Enos Jubilee, for example, this thing is just not really going to be the best car. It's rear-wheel drive, it gets a poor launch, it's not that good off-road, it's not even that good on-road, to be honest. If you want a really cheap first-gen Amani Tech car, you may want to consider purchasing it because it's just so cheap right now. But I would only do it if you have the trade price, which is the price you see on screen right here, because if you don't, it's going to be more like 1.3 mil, and for that price, you should just get an Enos Jubilee, to be honest. It's not the worst car ever, it's not the best car ever. If you're in need of a good first-gen Amani Tech car with the bullet-resistant windows, with the front-mounted machine guns, the armor plating, all that stuff, you may want to consider purchasing it. But overall, I would recommend saving up a little bit more money and just getting something like an STX, because that's going to be significantly better in the long run. So that's what I'd recommend. Over on Warstock, we have the Insurgent. It's going for $472,500, and this is if you have the trade price. Now, if you don't have the trade price, it's going to be more like $650,000. For either of these prices, you're getting a vehicle that can take 9 RPGs, 27 homing missiles. It's got great armor. It's the exact same armor as the Night Shark and the Insurgent Pickup Custom, so very well armored vehicle, and it's great on-road, it's great off-road, it's just a fantastic vehicle. Everybody should have an Insurgent. It does have the ability to serve a need that the Night Shark can't quite meet. If you need something to get you around safely that can also beat other things out of the way, and something that's going to be a little bit better off-road than the Night Shark, the Insurgent is that vehicle. Overall, I'd recommend getting the Pickup Custom with the gun on the roof, but that's not on discount this week, whereas this is. So if you don't care about having an armed vehicle, so if you don't care about it being armed, this is going to be a really good vehicle to pick up. So I highly recommend the Insurgent for pretty much everybody. Under the two-door section, we still have the Walton L35 on discount. This thing is just an absolute scam in my opinion. It's way too much money. 1.16 million, almost $1.2 million is a crazy amount of money for a pickup truck, and a pickup truck that's not that fantastic at what it does. It's in the off-road category, but it's comparatively really terrible to a lot of other off-road category vehicles like the Canis Terminus, the Classic Draugr, things like that. Those vehicles are going to outperform this thing greatly. Now, it does have something in the way of customization, like quite a bit, but unless you're really in the market for an old square body Chevy, I would completely avoid the Walton L35. I just don't think it's anywhere close to being worth this amount of money. So I'd recommend avoiding it for pretty much everybody. We do also have the Cairn S95 on discount. This thing has HSW available for it. It's going for $1.4 million. If you're in the market for an S95, if you want a nice little two-door sports car, this is pretty good, and with HSW, it's pretty quick. However, the handling isn't that great on it, and it doesn't have a lot of grip, so in the corners, it's going to be a lot to deal with, especially with HSW on it. For that reason, I'm kind of on the fence as to whether or not it's worth it. For another 400 grand, you can get a Banshee GTS, which has better handling than the S95, and with HSW, it has a significantly higher top speed. And even without HSW, the Banshee GTS clears this thing pretty easily. So if you want a Cairn S95, if you like the Toyota GT86 Subaru BRZ, you may want to buy this thing, but just know the handling is not going to be that awesome on it. And for another 400k, you can get a Banshee GTS, which is going to outperform this thing, and not only outperform, but mop the floor with the S95 realistically. So I'd recommend saving up and getting a Banshee GTS, but again, if you want an S95, it's 30% off. You might as well have it now if it's something that you're interested in. We also have the Annis Remus, one of the coolest customized cars in the game. This thing has drift tuning available for it, which is pretty cool. We also have the Dinka RT3000 right below it for a lot more money, another $180,000. The RT3000 is about to get drift tuning within the next few months, so that's something to note. So if you're going to want to drift tune it, you might want to buy it now while it's on discount. I'm probably going to be buying one this week. In fact, out of the two, I'd definitely take the Remus over the RT3000 every single day. I think it has way more customization that's cool. I think you can make it look a lot better. However, if you're an S2000 fan in real life, you're going to want the RT3000. And while it's on discount, I mean, 900k is still a lot of money. But if you want a drift tunable car, or a car that's going to be drift tunable soon, the RT3000 is a good option for that. But of course, the Annis Remus has drift tuning too. So I'd recommend the Remus over the RT3000 personally. That's my personal take on it. I think the Remus is just generally a better car. But for those guys that like the S2000, The RT3000 on discount is not terrible either. So basically, whichever one you like more out of the two is the one I'd recommend buying. I think your value for money, though, on the Remus is a lot higher than it is on the RT3000. So that's what I will leave you with. We also have the Albany Brigham discounted this week for $1,049,000. Crazy amount of money for what you're getting with this car. I really don't recommend it, to be honest, unless you want it for your garage, because there's nothing performance-wise that's very redeemable about this. Even customization-wise, it's not that good. So I really don't recommend the Albany Brigham. I don't think it's that good of a car. However, if you want one, definitely get it while it's on discount. And last but not least, over on the Benny's website, we have the Progen Italy GTB for $832,000. This is a cool looking car from the front and from the back, but the middle is just weird. It's not that good performance-wise. For $800K, you're not getting that much value out of the vehicle. I think a Zentorno is literally faster than the GTB. It does have this cool Benny's customization, though, with a wide-body kit on it, which is pretty neat. So if you're interested in something like that with a lot more customization, that is definitely a cool thing about it. Overall, I feel like for $830,000, like, it's a neat car, but it's not something that you need to have for sure. So if you're in the market for an Italy GTB, if you want one, if it's a car you like, definitely get it while it's on discount. But for most people, I'm going to go ahead and say you're going to want to avoid the Italy GTB. Within the casino, we still have the Balak and Envisage as the podium vehicle, so definitely try to win this week. The prize ride within the LS car meet is still the Pfister Comet Safari with the special Christmas trees livery on it, so definitely try to win this if you can for sure. And within the LS car meet, we have the Declasse Vamos, the Vapid Click, and the Dubachi 770. The Vamos has terrible handling and really weird advanced handling flags. It's going for $600K, which is a lot of money in my opinion. I'd avoid the Vamos personally, even though I think it is a cool car at the end of the day. The Vapid Click is also available for $909,000. However, I don't really recommend it. It's not worth that amount of money. The 770 is $695,000, which is a pretty fair price for what you're getting. Performance-wise, it's a decent car. It looks really awesome. Customization-wise, though, it is a little on the weaker side. This one's honestly kind of up in the air as to whether you want it or not. Overall, I'd say it's not that special, and I'd wait for it to go on discount personally, but do what you want. And of course, we also have the HSW test ride this week, which is the Sentinel, which is not worth it with HSW. It's really not that good. Going for just under 2 mil, which is kind of crazy. So yeah, don't really recommend that one either. Now, in the last what to buy and what to avoid, I accidentally completely missed Simeon, so here we are today. We have the Pfister Comet S2 Cabrio with a special Christmas livery on it, which is cool. It's available in here. We also have the Albany Alpha with nothing special to it. In case you guys are wondering how much that S2 Cabrio is going to be, it's going to be $1,797,000, so the normal price. And the Albany Alpha is going to be $150,000 if you want it. Got the Night Shark with the Holly livery on it, which is pretty cool. It's going to go for just over its normal price, another $20K on top of the $1,245,000 that it usually costs. We got the BF Dune FAV with the wrapping paper livery, which is kind of cool. $1.1 million. Crazy amount of money. I would not recommend buying it. And of course, the Ocelot Ardent with the Candy Cane livery on it, which is $1,150,000, which is a lot more worth it. That's a lot more value for money out of this than out of the Dune FAV there. But yeah, so that's what's at Simeon's this week. Luxury autos, we got the Luiva and the FMJ Mark V here. So those are available at Luxury Autos. You can also just buy them on the website. So I don't know what we're doing at Luxury Autos still, but dope. The gun van this week is going to have the stun gun, the service carbine, the combat shotgun, the compact grenade launcher, vintage pistol, up and atomizer, which you should have for sure, unholy hellbringer, which is also pretty good, the railgun, which is also great, and the El Strickler as well. Stun gun's cool, you don't need it though. Service carbine is also cool. If you don't have it, definitely get one. But pretty much everything else you can kind of avoid. For throwables, oddly enough, we only have grenades, and for body armor, it is of course discounted this week. Your RC Bandito time trial is Cemetery, your Jung Energy time trial is Alta, your regular time trial is end to end, and of course your HSW time trial is Terminal. So that's what's available this week. And that's it, guys. That's it for what to buy and what to avoid this week in Grand Theft Auto Online. I'm very excited for next week to actually have something new to report on, but nonetheless, I hope you found this video useful or informative at the very least. Thanks so much for watching. Consider dropping a like and subscribing if you guys are new. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, take care. Peace.